Where are we? There we go. Done. Right. So, pros and cons of PG-13 stroke 12 rating Jurassic World Rebirth. Do you want to start?
I think if they keep it as a PG-13/12 rating, it will be fine. It will, because the rest of the movies, for the most part, have been fine at that rating. But and they get to keep obviously all the merchandise they can sell. They get to keep all their audience without changing anything too much. But
It's safe, isn't it?
I think that's the best word for it. It's safe. And I think they've done that over the X amount of years while they've been making them because it was safe, it's easy money, it'll always bring them in money and merchandise and everything else. I think if they went R rating, it's a bold move. And I think it's for us of our age and stuff, it's great if they did an
Yeah.
R rating. But I think in the wider scope of things, I think it would hurt Universal to do it in the media way that they would do it now, just because they've got so many movies behind them. If it was only one or two movies that they made and they decided to go R rating, they're not really losing too much. But after they've got 6 movies there, I think it's a lot to gamble on.
Right. Mike's just come in and said pros for him are there's more toy sales. Cons, nobody dies. Dinosaurs are fluffy and speak perfect English. So for me, the right, I'm going to go with you. You've gone with the cons, haven't you? First, did you go with the cons first? Yeah. So for me, the cons of having a PG and a 12 is that the last movie and the Camp Cretaceous stuff is, I think, what it feels very detached from what everybody loved about the Jurassic movies. Because I think having a little bit of fear doesn't necessarily put you off watching things. Having that little bit of fear is like, people like playing with danger a little bit, and it keeps you on the edge of your toes. And but I think when edge of your toes, I mean edge of your seat on your toes.
Yeah,
Edge of your toe made a new phrase up.
Yeah, edge of your toes.
Edge of your toes. That's a new one. I might caption this podcast as edge of your toes. Yeah, so I think this is where they need to be they need to be brave, I think, because the problem I didn't like about Dominion is I think every character felt too safe. At no point was I thinking that Laura Dern, Alan Grant, Dr. Malcolm, Chris Pratt, Bryce, any of them, Maisie, none of them are going to die.
No.
And the second they're all together, I was thinking, are they going to be brave enough to kill Malcolm? Maybe.
I wanted them to. I thought that's what I really wanted. Not that I wanted Malcolm to die, but I thought that was a perfect scenario for it to do it.
And when Henry Wu came into the equation, I was thinking, yes, right, at least someone. They're going to have to sacrifice one of these people here because they can't all escape.
Yeah.
And they all escaped. With not much injuries either, to be fair to them. And it kind of just made me think it's made for the Camp Cretaceous audience.
Yeah, I mean, when you look back at Dominion, actually, you just made a good point. Like, you think back to the end of Jurassic Park, right? Alan Grant was a little bit injured, just scratches and scrapes. Timmy had been electrified. Laura Dern had been hurt a leg. I mean, everyone had the Jeff Goldblum had had obviously Sexy Jeff and had his leg done. All those had kind of cut scrapes and everything. If you think back to Dominion, I don't think anyone even barely had a cut on them.
No, you see a few people get like chomped and eaten. There was one in the Malta scene where the Allosaurus he gets eaten on fire. And then there was one obviously in the Malta scene outside with a scooter.
Yeah, I was more thinking like the main cast. Like none of them.
Oh yeah, no one got a scratch.
I've only right now, and I've watched it a few times.
Chris Pratt got chased through an entire city on a motorbike and didn't get a single scuff. He had a plane crash
Yeah.
in an ice water, didn't get any hypothermia, pneumonia, nothing. Didn't even
Cold.
suffer.
Not even a sniffle.
I don't even think he got cut.
No.
I think the one cut he got was from Blue when she scratched him
Yeah.
on the hand, right? Now that's what I worry about.
Unrealistic.
It's just like you can go as far as even in the last film when he had the pyroclastic flow and he survived that, but at least like people died in that movie. Do you know what I mean? Like they did. They got in there. You know, one of the main characters, Eli Mills, got killed.
Yeah.
You got loads of guards got killed by the Indoraptor, Lockwood. Lockwood. That was probably the worst murder of all of them, really, because it was quite dark, that movie. And I liked Bayona. I think he was a great director, and he really knew how to capture the tenseness from the original three.
Especially The Lost World, I would say. I was probably most linked to that one.
Yeah, and I still think it's the best visual effects of all the films as well. Even Dominion, even though I know the CGI in Dominion is just as good in certain, I'd say, but the visual effects, I like the way they use the visual effects in Fallen Kingdom. Like the practicals were good, but the CG overlay just made them even better. So it was it was great stuff. Same with Battle of Big Rock, that was really well made as well. So I guess the cons of the PG-13 is that it's not going to be violent enough, and we're going to get a whole situation where the whole cast survive the whole way through the film.
Like Mike said, it's going to be really tame again, where it's just, I don't mind having a really good story, but you kind of get sick of looking at the same stories and the same people kind of surviving film after film with no repercussions. You just maybe do want something a bit new. And again, like I say, if an R rating does that and we still get the good story with a little bit more violence and a little bit more kind of, they can tell the story a little bit better because they've got that freedom to use the R rating. Great, bring it on.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? It's like you've got to bring in the theme in for it to sort of warrant at least it's. I think if they're going to make it a 12 PG-13, they've got to make it a 12 PG-13.
Yeah,
they can't do that, and then what they do is make it actually more of like a universal G, whatever you call it, like something I would see in Harry Potter 1.
Yeah, Shrek.
I want Deathly Hallows now. I don't want
Philosopher's Stone.
Yeah, I don't want Philosopher's. I want Deathly Hallows. I don't want Philosopher's Stone. Or if you want to get the perfect mixture, I want the third movie because that's the best one. Prince of Azkaban.
That's 4, isn't it?
Nah, it's 3. 4 is Goblet of Fire.
So it is, yeah.
Yeah, although I like the 4th book the best. That's my favourite book, but I didn't like how they did the film as much. I like, we're going on a tangent again, but I liked how they did the
Order of the Phoenix. What number is that then? Is that 5?
That's 5. I like that one too. That's quite good.
When
they go to the ministry and in the orbs and stuff, that was pretty cool. But yeah, we're going way off topic here. But yeah, no. I was going to say, PG, the con. There's another con. Yeah, I don't want the kiddifiedness of it. Like we've had the magic. We have. I want a little bit. Like the magic for me will be Zora and the paleontologist dude seeing these creatures up close, having to do what they're doing to try and get this secret mission with the DNA sample, and being absolutely mesmerized about how big these are and stuff. That's the wonder. We don't need to see them being graceful anymore. We've seen that 6 times.
The wonder for us is introducing us to maybe a new cool dinosaur that can do cool things. Doesn't necessarily have to be like an amazing bite. variant of Rex or Allosaurus or a big theropod or anything like that. But you know what I mean, just bring us some like nice, good dinosaurs that aren't gonna throw away the storyline and stuff like that just because you're putting them in. Like for instance, in Dominion, right, wasn't really touched on too much. But having Dreadnoughtus in there, just flying in as you walk, going past the helicopter, that was a nice touch. I like that because it
Yeah.
did take away from the film and it was a new dinosaur.
The wonder for me in Dominion was the prologue.
Yeah.
That was the wonder, seeing these animals, back in the past,
Mhm.
and that was really well done. I love that. And
Even the Theri scene, seeing the Therizinosaurus, you know what I mean, on that one, that was a good implement. It was a good thing in the story, and they
yeah,
used it well, apart from the very last scene.
yeah. So that for me is something that I worry about with the PG-13-12 rating now,
Mhm.
is that is our expectations of the 12 now still not enough anymore? Do we need a 15 for it to get what we got with Jurassic World? Like, what's changed? Why is Jurassic World acceptable to be a 12A for PG-13 when you've got the Indominus chomping people, ripping them in half? He wipes out a whole ACU unit. You've got Pteranodons taking everyone out in Main Street. There's you obviously get the Raptors wiping out the ACU unit at night time. There's the Mosasaurus swallows Zara.
Zara,
So you've got all this violence in this. I think the kill count was something crazy, like 18 or something stupid.
I wonder if it's to do with how, because when you think about most of those, even the guy who gets chomped by the Indominus, yeah, he gets chomped from the head down. But when you think about it, you don't really see any blood. The only blood you see is around the teeth of the Indominus when he's next to the cow of Chris Pratt. I did just see that one.
We'll touch on that in a minute.
But yeah, I don't think you see too much blood, and that's maybe how they get away with it. And you don't see any gore. You just literally see like clump, and he's gone.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering whether it's just a gore thing.
For me, I like it's how they are killed as well, though, which is what I like. And that sounds really sick-minded, but what I mean is, like, you compare Jurassic World with how Dominion, the kills are in Dominion, right? Okay, so Jurassic World, you get a guy ripped in half, you get another one chomped, you get another one swallowed, another girl swallowed whole. You see the raptors just taking everyone out left, right, and centre, right? Go to Fallen Kingdom, you get Wheatley get his arm bitten off. You see the T-Rex kill Mills at the end.
Yeah.
You've got Pteranodons picking people up and dropping them on cars. You see people getting rammed by the herbivores.
You see Blue Savage, that guy.
You see Blue Savage, that guy. Absolutely. You go to Dominion, the kill scenes are like something off of Jurassic World Evolution 2.
Yeah.
And it's like comical.
Literally, yeah.
And it cuts away. There's no...
Like Dodgson. Like, that was a prime example where that could have been shown a little bit more, I think, in that one, where he got killed.
Yeah, and I put it down to them not knowing how to film the puppetry on... That's where the stamp... You know how, like, the... in the original movie, that puppeteer, the raptor, go on to Muldoon. Well, that's a practical effect before it cuts away, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know whether they had that skill in
vision.
Vision and skill and vision in that creative team that they used for Jurassic World Dominion, and I wonder if that was to do with it. But then that's the magic of Stan Winston, I guess, isn't it? I don't know who's actually in charge of the vision. I think it's the same people.
Jack.
I don't know for a fact. I wonder if anyone can actually...
It makes sense for them to use the same people, to be honest, because they've used them before.
Yeah, I wonder if they're under contract still. If there was another movie, they would still do it. I'm not sure. I know the movie, the actual... It's not Pinewood. I know it's Sky Estuary Studios. So it's a different location. Mike's going to check for us. I want to get onto this one. I hope lesbian couples will not be in Jurassic World Rebirth after what happens romance scenes in Camp Cretaceous Season 5 and Chaos Theory, like Yaz and Sammy, which that is a disgusting scene. That's subjective. I would say it's not. I wouldn't say it's disgusting because I would say it is what it is. I wouldn't say it's
Natural.
disgusting. Nothing's shown. It's natural. I think it's very well done, to be honest. But is it needed? That's a completely different argument. Needed, not so much. I think it's, it's
No, but I think it's done in a way where I think a lot of people sometimes think that, oh, they're throwing this in our face, they're throwing this in our face. And I think the way they did it was quite subtle and quite nice for the age rating that it's going for.
I think in Can Cretaceous, it was an exploration. They seemed, the way they filmed it was, the way they did it was almost like, I'm not sure how I feel.
Mhm.
This is like, this is a weird feeling. They're at like a pubescent age. This is weird. Like, is this normal for me to feel like this? Is it not? And if you know about it, that means you're mature enough to know about it. And
Yeah.
it is what it is. If you're not more mature enough to know about it, if you're under 11, say, the chances are that I work at school. I see kids that are best friends and they love each other because it's just what they are like. Kids have grown up, they're taught to love each other, to have respect for each other. So they might see it in a different way. So you can't necessarily sort of say, in my opinion, you can't really say that as much. Now, if you're going to make it a more mature audience, then yeah, I would say I completely agree. It doesn't need to go through the woke culture. We don't need to have it thrown in our faces. Like,
We don't need it explained.
It doesn't progress a story in any way, shape, or form. Especially in a movie. A movie certainly doesn't need it.
Do you know what gets me with that is it's the fact where if I don't mind it, like obviously lesbians being in Jurassic, if that's what's going to happen, so what?
It doesn't bother me at all.
It doesn't bother me. But what I mean is, like, if there's two straight people there, they're just actors and they're acting. But all of a sudden, if it's two lesbian people, I think in some movies they feel like they have to explain why they're lesbian and stuff like that. That's what I don't want, because you don't need it.
Yeah,
like I say, it doesn't add to the story.
It just needs to. Yeah, it just needs to be
what
if
it
it's
is.
in there. It is what it is. If the chemistry's there, you can see it, and that's it. You know if it's not like an elephant in the room. You know it's there, and then as soon as they have their relationship, you think, oh, well, I knew that was going to happen eventually. But it didn't become the main focal point, which is what I liked about Camp Cretaceous. They actually did that, handled it very well.
Yeah, they did.
There's a lot of other shows where they try and force it on you, and then it becomes more about that and about.
You know what I mean? For the demographic, it's trying to aim for like children, kids, and young adults of a certain age and stuff. You know what I mean? That might kind of relate to a lot of people who are maybe thinking, you know what, I kind of feel like that, but I didn't realize I felt like that. You know what I mean? It can help.
It normalizes it.
Yeah, that's it.
And because they subtly did it without throwing it in your face, it's almost like it brushes over without you realizing it's happened.
Yeah.
Because for me, it's not a main plot of it. I have more issues with the fact that Kenji was riding the back of a saber-tooth and fist pumping a Carnotaurus than I have over that. That's for sure. That's the least of my worries. Now, do I think it should belong in the movie universe? No, absolutely not, because it doesn't carry a story forward in any way, shape, or form.
But like I say, if for any reason that being in it adds to the story for any reason, like say you're showing a backstory to someone and it props up in that, then fair enough, but it's just part of a backstory. But I don't think it needs to be spoken unless it adds to the story for some reason.
Yeah. Mike's come back. He said ILM are doing the digital visual effects, but no confirmation of who is making the animatronics.
Yeah.
Fair dues. I think it's the company, but we'll find out probably closer down the line, won't we? So for me, we're going back on topic because we did go off there a little bit. Let's go into the pros of having the Pg-13 12 rating. For me, is that it follows the trend of the rest of the movie. So what you'll get is when these movies, I'm assuming they're probably, if the numbers are good, they're going to go with a continuation of a trilogy again. I don't know how they're going to spread this out 3 times, but if they do somehow, they probably will. It can continue with the same, octology, whatever you're going to call it, of an 8 movie, like the saga of Star Wars. It works.
Yeah,
it works. So you've got that. you can still sell toys, because no matter what point in the Jurassic fandom, your kids are going to watch them. Your kids, your family are going to watch it together. People are going to go to the movies together as a family on a summer blockbuster. As soon as you make this an R-rated, you can't do that.
No, yeah,
absolutely. It completely cuts off. Well, think of who can see it. Anyone over 18.
Yeah.
So 15-year-olds, 12-year-olds, young kids can't see this film. So that's 3 generations of type of people that you can't show this to.
When you think, what's the youngest person you think parents would take a child to see a Jurassic? Would you say about 7, 6?
6, 7, I would say.
Yeah.
And that's depending
On the child.
I think on the child as well. Yeah. Absolutely. Okay, so here you go. Just a thought. Jaws is a 12. So it just shows you how, when you make a film, Mike, could you research for us, please, what Jaws was when it first came out of the cinema back in the 70s?
Now, there was a scene where the guy gets took off the boat and gets his leg severed. That was actually a bit more of a longer scene, where you saw his leg floating down in the water and stuff like that, instead of it just landing on the bottom and bouncing. It was a big one, but the actual ratings board, when they saw it, said that is too graphic. You need to tone it down for it to be a 12. So it originally did have some more parts in it.
See, for
especially
me,
that
Jaws is a more terrifying movie than most, because it's real. I know it's over exaggerated, and of course it didn't do very much for the great whites, the poor creatures. Like, there was probably a big mass manhunt after this for these poor animals, but it just signifies that we don't belong in the water. As much as it's over exaggerated, we don't belong in the water, and that's just evidence of what could happen.
Do you know what, you say that? Like, as a kid, it used to terrify me, but I still loved watching it. But it just increased my fascination with sharks.
Fascination, 100%. There is nothing wrong with being scared.
No.
There's nothing wrong with being scared.
I go and do a lot of like snorkeling and diving and stuff, and I've dived with sharks all over the world and stuff.
Exactly. I get psychological stuff is quite terrifying. I can understand why, watching Halloween is an 18, because it's a psychopath with a knife.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And you don't want kids getting terrified and having nightmares. But these sort of films, like,
it's based in reality.
These are real. Like, that's just an animal being an animal, and and like it or not, you sit in if you go in the ocean where there's sharks, that's going to happen.
Yep.
So it's not like unrealistic. Do you know what I mean? Jaws released something right. It was rated A. What's that equivalent of a PG? However, the B for late rated. Okay, so that might be kind of what you were talking about, Chris, in a way. So where was also a train of thought? Jaws was talking about and how it's kind of realistic, but I think you get going back to pros, and we went well off topic. Pros, so you get toys. They're going to stay in the shops. Jurassic World merch now has been in the shops for 10 years now.
Yeah,
which I think is incredible.
Yeah.
Kenner had I don't think Kenner. I do not remember Kenner toys staying in this long. No. It probably did, but I think they became more. I think I'll be interested to know how long after because you had those, what's the toy line called that had all like the fluorescent colours?
Oh yeah, I can't remember what they're
called. You know what I'm on about?
I remember them. Well, yeah.
This is where I need more people in the chat. I wish we had more people in the chat talking. Chaos line, I think it was called.
Was it? Yeah.
Now I don't know how long that. Obviously, kids love dinosaurs. Dinosaurs are always going to be there, right? But I don't remember when the Jurassic Park merchandise stopped going on shelves. I just don't remember that era. It might have been because of my age and I just wasn't looking. But I don't remember there being any Jurassic merchandise on Cat's Effect, on shelves between 2003 and 2014. I just don't remember in that decade. I do not remember any Jurassic themed stuff on shelves at all.
I remember. Hold on a minute.
Because I know with Jurassic Park 3, you had the Jurassic toy line.
2000.
What's that?
It says Chaos Effect was the last Jurassic Park line in the Kenner series.
There you go. And that must have...
Hasbro continued to make after that, but 2000 was the last Kenner one.
Yeah. So I would say Jurassic. I'd say with not Hasbro.
Kenner.
No, Mattel.
Oh,
they've been making Jurassic toys now since Fallen Kingdom, haven't they?
Yeah.
So what's that been? 6 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're still going strong with Chaos Theory coming, and you've got all the Camp Cretaceous line. They can just keep going and going. And I think with this new movie, that's a whole new ball game. We've got more. I just think the second you make this a 15,
mm-hmm.
you're losing that audience. There you go. Jurassic Park 3 stopped 95, Lost World 97. That was my toy line, this one. I got the original T-Rex, which I've got down there. And the Triceratops I've got, but I didn't. This line, the 97 toy line was
Lost World.
That was my peak time of being a fan, because I was 12, 11, 12, still young enough to want to play with stuff and be into it.
Mm-hmm.
You had all the candy eggs.
You
had all the Tops comics. You had the the cards. The cards.
The sticker book.
Sticker book. It was just such a great time to
pencil cases,
the blood dripping pencil cases. It was such a cool time to sort of take to be at school, like between the ages
PG
of 10 to 12.
Yeah.
The team. And then obviously the Jurassic Park 3 toy line. We were teenagers and older. You know, you were probably nearly, what would you have been, 18?
2003, yeah, I would have been 18. I was already working.
I was 16. I was 16 then. So we were past all that then. You know, we were meeting girls and
in fact, I remember going to the cinema to watch GP3. And it was in Spain. I was living in Spain at the time, and I went in, and it was meant to be an English showing, and I went in, and it was Spanish showing.
Oh no!
Devastated.
Oh no. Yeah, so I just think like you're losing that. You're losing a whole massive area of merchandise and marketing, like a huge one. And I think when you have an R-rated film, also is the contrast from Chaos Theory and Camp Cretaceous to that being in the same universe just feels so far apart. I think you'd lose your link, because you can't imagine this animal then appearing into Chaos Theory or Camp Cretaceous. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As much as, like, credit where it's due, I think Chaos Theory handled the violence really well.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was a scene where obviously we see Kenji's dad get killed by the raptors brutally, very brutally. And you see the guy at the end of the series get brutally murdered as well by the raptors. So I do think you've got to find, I guess, the PG-13 area is a good link between the two. Yeah. You're getting the best of both worlds. But I just think it's clearly down to how it's handled.
But do you know what, right? If I'm me, I'm wanting an R-rated Jurassic Park film, a Jurassic World film. If I'm Universal, I would think that they would want a PG-13. Just for merchandise alone and everything else, and for the box office.
I think if this was a standalone movie, and I mean that not because of the success it needs to have. I mean, if we didn't have 6 movies that have already come before it, I think it would probably be a 15. or an R-rated, because I think they wouldn't have that tie. And now
They need to be something between PG-13 and R.
Yeah, it needs to be. Yeah,
A bit
yeah,
more gold, but not quite a lot.
yeah. Well, 15 is that, isn't it?
Yeah,
Saving
yeah,
Private Ryan was a 15.
yeah, yeah.
I
True.
think actually that's a good. I'm gonna have a look. I don't know whether it was Saving Private Ryan. There you go. Oh, it's right. It's rated R-rated in America,
Okay, so that'd be
but UK. Hold on, UK rating. $15 in the UK. There you go.
I will be surprised if they do go R.
Yeah,
I'd like it, but I'll be surprised.
I actually think I'd be happy with a 15, because then I do think you're still toning it back a lot, and you still, I think there's enough there. PG-13 would be right. PG-13 is the best rating, because we're going to wrap up in about 5 minutes, guys. All right, because and I've got some starred comments I just want to go over before we go. So PG-13 is the perfect rating for this if the right director films, if Gareth Edwards films the right tone and has a bit of bravery and kills characters off.
Mm-hmm.
I think if we get another Dominion effect, then I think we're just going to lose a big part of the audience, because this is almost like their chance of having another go. Oh, can I please have one more chance? One more chance. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Okay. Here's your one more chance. And then you're still doing the same mistake again. And I think if they don't utilize that chance they've been given again to sort of, right, okay, the last one was a bit tosh, let's make it better again. But I think what we'll do is we're going to go to a quick break, and then we come back. The last segment's just going to be basically a bit of a question. I've got some starred comments I want to go through, and then we'll wrap up. All right. So, final thoughts and comments. Right, my starred comment is from Jurassic Horror said he wants a PG-13 rating. Mike said the pros are kids get eaten, guts. Oh, this is the pros of an 18. Pros, kids will get eaten, guts will spit on camera, F-bombs galore when you're being chased by dinos. Yeah, that's a good one. I do agree. He said the toy audiences has changed a lot since the 80s and 90s. Can you remember Aliens and RoboCop, Terminator toys from 18 movies? Yeah. I suppose so.
I had the Terminator.
Oh, did you?
Like the one that used to talk and his glasses came off and he had his gun. Yeah. His minigun. I had the Aliens, actually. I had the Aliens. I had Sigourney Weaver in the... from Alien 2.
Really?
In the Walker, and I had the Queen as well. Yeah.
Jurassic World said, I will fight. Oh, excuse me. I'm fine with Jurassic World Rebirth being a PG rating instead of an R rated. And Mike says 18 because I'm tired of off-screen kills and disembowel. Okay, so that's all the comments that I did star. And why can't I find that comment now? Oh no. Where is that comment now? I'm not gonna I've lost the starred comment. There we go. There we go, it's done. Yeah, so for me, Universal wants to play safe. It's a franchise cash cow. Fast and Furious, so they won't making it an R. Yeah, no, I agree. If Alien Romulus can make $347 million, and Jurassic Park can do it if the movie is good. Is that all that made? No, it can't have made. Got to have made more than that. Go and check. That's just making. That's only 100 million over probably what the budget was. because that's bad.
Yeah, it said the film's cumulative global haul stands at 341 million.
Oh my god! I would say that's a failure of an Alien movie.
Yeah, it did
is the
105
fan
domestic
base,
in the US and
is the
244 international.
is the fan base just not there? Is the fan base? Have I underestimated the fan base size of Alien? I don't know, because
Well, I've been waiting to watch
I
it.
couldn't wait to see that film.
Mhm.
Like that Twisters. I was really looking forward to seeing. Like, because growing up, Alien and Twisters has been part of my
Yeah.
culture of movie culture. You know, two classic movies that 80 minutes. Okay, so the payoff has
Yeah,
been good.
the budget was only 8.
80 minutes. Okay, that's not much actually, is it? I suppose if you look at it like that, what's 80 million a percentage of 250 of 340? What is that as a percentage? It's about 20%, isn't it?
Mhm.
So Jurassic's got a budget of 250 million. They've got to make a billion, haven't they?
Yeah, $1 billion minimum.
So I guess in the same mathematical numbers, I guess it's done as successful as it has worked. So
Yeah.
I take that back. In terms of mathematical numbers, it's maxed its budget 5 times. So
Yeah.
I guess it's done well for what it was.
Mhm.
I was just picturing at least 500 mil.
500, 600 million.
At least. Like when you look at the movies that have made that, that's crazy. But never mind. I liked it, so I don't care what anyone says. If it's not your film, I don't care. I think it's great. I'm looking forward to seeing that again. I'm looking forward to seeing the next Prey movie as well, because I liked the one that came out a couple of years ago. I thought that was excellent too.
Yeah, that was good.
But yeah, no, I think we've come to the final conclusion of PG-13 12 is probably the best rating for this film for a number of reasons, isn't it? We just have some little hopes that they're going to be a bit braver, right?
It's good for Universal, not necessarily for an adult audience, but for an audience as a whole, I think it'd be better as a PG-13.
Yeah, I think it should be a 15 because I think then you get in Saving Private Ryan / A Quiet Place level of gore.
Yeah,
and I think you then making these creatures feel a bit more real, and you don't get off-screen deaths as much.
Yeah,
that's what I want. I'm not going to be disappointed if it's a PG-13, providing it's done right. I think if we can get the right tone and you get the original tone and death sequences back, they're not being afraid to, the wishbone effect of Eddie Carr again. I want to see that back. That's why I think Jurassic World has got the best balance of this in the new modern era. It's definitely got the best balance of it, and they weren't afraid. So I'm hoping they're not afraid again. But yeah, anyway, guys, that is the end of the show. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're new, don't forget to like and subscribe and click the notification bell, and then you'll see all of our other videos. We normally go live on Thursdays. If you're also new and you like gaming, please check out our gaming channel, which is the Gaming Isle. I think Chris will probably put it up in the chat. He's normally, I can see his little faces on it. Click the link, and if you like Fortnite and the Isle game, the dinosaur role-playing game, then we play that quite. That's what the channel's mainly based on. We play that quite every Tuesday night. We're live, and see you again soon. Only one thing left to say, Chris.
Life will find a way.
Thanks to everyone in the chat. Bye bye.